everybody, welcome back to another episode of Living the Sweet Life. I'm your host, TJ Sweet, and on this podcast, one of our main goals is to help you go from where you are to where you want to be. And we do that by helping you reshape your mindset, help you live with intention, and help you look at the world through a grateful lens. First of all, I want to say thank you for making time for this episode, for all these different episodes. I've been inspired by all the support and encouragement and the messages I've been getting recently. So thank you for that. And take this time to subscribe because we need reminders. These episodes come out every Monday. Mondays are typically busy. So when you hit that subscribe button, you'll get notification that the episode is ready for you. And you'll see me posted everywhere on socials as well. So this week, I want to talk about something that seems so simple, but it may actually be the one thing you needed to hear to make some changes in your life. So there's this very simple quote: nothing changes if nothing changes. Now, you're probably thinking, well, obviously, but let me ask you a question. Is there something that you want to be changing or to have changed in your life, but you haven't done anything different in your life to change it? Now, this is something that we all have to deal with, right? There's things that we say that we want to change, but we don't actually want to change who we are or what we're doing to make the change. There's the big gap. There's the big difference, because there are times where we want to make significant changes in our life, in our finances, in our careers, in our relationships, but we say we want things to be different, but we don't actually commit to the things we need to be doing differently. And there's this old thought of, if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always been getting. Now, again, that also feels simple, but why is it so hard to just accept the fact that if nothing changes, nothing around you is going to change? First of all, you have to own the fact of, if you really want something to change, like really, really want something to change, you will. So first of all, owning the fact that when you say you want something to change, if you aren't taking action, you just kind of want it to change. The change would be nice, but it's not a must. It may make things better, but you're not really committed to it. So set down the pressure of wanting things to change if you don't actually really want it to change. Sometimes we have uncertainty that shows up in our lives whenever we're talking about change. So you have to be comfortable with uncertainty and not knowing what it could look like if you start changing some things about your life. You have to be okay with that in order to start making some of these changes. And we never want to feel like we're stuck or in a rut, but keep in mind, like we've talked about, control the things we can. And the things that we've talked about that you can change, that are within your control, if you've now, after listening to that other episode about controlling the things you can and let go of the things you can't, if you've recognized some things you can change and you haven't made a change yet, the truth of the matter is it's not your capability. It's just actually your desire to actually make the change. Now, I'm not preaching this. Trust me, I talk about this with my friends in my circle. I'm talking to you to hopefully inspire you to make that change. Start making some changes in your life so that you can live in a way that you want to be living, doing what you want to be doing, doing it with the people you want to be doing it with. And there's another little simple quote that goes so perfectly with this: but you can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. And again, that may sound like I'm saying the same thing twice, but if you think about it, you can't change the people around you, as in you can't change them, but you can change who you are around. So again, if you want to be surrounded by more positive people, if you want to be surrounded by people who help inspire you and encourage you and challenge you, but you don't change the people you're around, nothing's going to change. So oftentimes this tension that you have of wanting to change, it's possible, right? The fact that you have that tension in the first place makes you realize that you actually believe you can change. So step number one is really wanting it. Like really wanting it. Not just being okay if you don't change, but really being committed to it. The second step is believing that you can and just burning the boats, getting rid of plan B, just deciding that enough is enough and you're tired of living the way you've been living and wanting the change. We have to be willing to change to make changes in our lives. But it starts with wanting it and then believing that you can. Sometimes that big shift from just wanting something to actually making it happen is how we see change. So if you're somebody who says that change makes you uncomfortable, or maybe you're nervous about change, or change scares you, whatever words you want to use, maybe that's your first step. Acknowledging that because you think that way about change is maybe the reason why you're not committing to the new habits, the changes that you need to be making. So understanding yourself is the first step to this. Like, why aren't you? Like, really write down, why haven't you made the changes that you want to make, that you maybe know you should be making? And if it's because you don't really want the outcome, then don't stress about not having it. Let's set yourself free from that. So we either get the choice of the uncomfortable nature of change, or the uncomfortable nature of staying where we are and where we don't want to be. We have the power of choice right in the middle of that. So once you really decide, I'm making this change and here are the changes I'm going to make, nothing will stop you. Once you see that change is actually growth, it's not a threat. It's maybe a threat to where you are, but it's the growth to where you want to be. Accept that change is part of the process and it's not always perfect. You may make a change and it may not work, but you got to change what you're doing. I've changed this podcast like I've talked about before. I started this in my house, just doing it myself. And, there were, a pretty good group of people that were always listening. And I wanted it to grow. I wanted it to expand. I wanted to reach more people. And then I realized that if I don't change what I'm doing, nothing's going to change. So what I did is I reached out to Brian Swano through Facebook. I reached out and said, I want somebody to record these podcasts with me and do some video as I go out and do speaking engagements. And let me tell you, one message, one change. Now here I am in this amazing studio working with Brian and his team. Everything's changed. I haven't changed about who I am and what I'm doing. It's how I'm doing it. It's how we are working together to bring this message to all of you. And so, sure, you could sit back and not make a change if you're okay with that. But when you start realizing that the change you could be making could actually help other people and inspire them to make more changes, and be humble enough to accept the fact that the things you were doing weren't going to get you to where you wanted to go, be humble enough to know that making a change is actually a sign of strength and courage, not a sign of not knowing what to do or not being capable of what to do. You have to believe in yourself. You have to be willing to get in the trenches of change, of maybe failing. Because again, if we aren't willing to put in the effort to change and fail, we're never going to know. And so let me ask you this question. Do you get stuck in the what if? Because if you think, what if I did pursue that? What if I did start doing podcasts in a studio? What if I did reach more people? That is the thought you need to have. Not the, you know what, it's fine, it's safe, it's comfortable. And the thing is, if you recognize that you get uncomfortable in moments of change, my only encouragement is get comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's only a sign of growth. Not that you're not capable, not that you're not ready, but that you're becoming ready, that you're recognizing what you're capable of. So make the changes that you need to make to actually see the changes and feel the changes in your life. And again, if we want the things outside of us to change, we have to change the things inside of us. I could talk to you about anything in your life and help you see it differently. I could change the perspective that you have of the exact same thing. And so there are times where we want the outside world to change, but we aren't willing to change who we are or maybe how we see the world. So take that power back of being able to understand how you see the world is a choice that you're making. It's about the work that you're doing. How the world sees you is not up to you, right? Other people are going to see things in different perspectives, but if you want to change how you feel and change your life, you are going to have to make the change. Don't sit back and hope that somebody else does it for you. Nobody else is coming to change you. Don't change who you are. You maybe have to grow, but you have to find your authentic self through change. if you really want it to work. Because if you change in a way that's not authentic to you, you're going to go back to where you were. So be committed to changing and growing and evolving, not changing who you are to fit in, but making the changes in your habits and your beliefs and your words and your behaviors so that you can see the changes in yourself and in the world around you. So remember, nothing changes if nothing changes. I hope this episode inspires you to maybe take a shot, take a risk, develop the new habit, commit to a change that you've talked about, or maybe you've thought about, but you haven't really been willing to talk about it yet. Make that change. Believe in yourself and know that you have the power to see change differently, that you have to want it so badly that you must do it. Believe in yourself, believe in the change, and know that it's going to work. It may not be as fast as you wanted it to change, but if you believe in what you're doing is a healthy change, moving you to where you want to be, things around you will change. Just stay steadfast and disciplined in that. So as I wrap up, I just wanted to encourage you to, one, think about things in your life. If there's a change you've been wanting to make and you feel stuck, think about making changes in your own life before you give up on whether or not that thing can actually change. And share this episode with somebody, because you're probably recognizing somebody in your life who's talked about wanting to do something but hasn't been able to find the courage to do it. This message may be the one thing they needed. And thirdly, hit that subscribe button so that you get these reminders. Because again, if you're relying on your memory to listen to these episodes every Monday, and then you keep forgetting till Wednesday, right? If nothing changes, nothing's going to change. So change that old habit of trying to remember by hitting that subscribe button. And I'll wrap up this episode like I do every episode, and reminding you that you always have the power and the choice to reshape your mindset, live with intention, and look at the world through a grateful lens. Till the next episode, never stop.